Alright, you mates, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at these main sections right here. So this top one, of course, if you can't see it, then make sure you go to View, Packet List. You also want to make sure you're looking at Packet Details and Packet Bytes. The bottom section is optional. I usually don't have it, but for this tutorial, we'll keep it up there. Why not? So first, this top section. So we already know that it's a list of all of the packets and oh, sorry, I got whooping cough. Alright, so each of these columns is just a brief overview, and I don't know, it's just like a real quick summary. So they have a number, and these numbers, they don't mean anything special. Whenever you start a capture, it's just a way that you can identify each one. So each new packet that comes in, you can see that it gets incremented by 1. Now it's actually useful whenever you're looking at your filters. So let's say that you were filtering by, I don't know, HTTP, and you're going to hit apply. So we can see that, okay, about every, 12 or, I don't know, probably like 11 or so packets, then that is a HTTP packet. So 1 out of 11, everything else is not. So that's a real quick way to do that. Now, this time right here, this is the time since your first packet was captured. So whenever your first packet gets captured, that's time 0. Now all of these other times are in relation to it. So if you actually look at the last one, 30.3, you can see the total time it took for your entire capture. Now, personally, I don't really like having, I don't care if the time is this specific. I don't need it to like the millionth decimal place. So what I usually do is go to View, Time Display Format, and I'll just choose like milliseconds or something. Who really cares nanoseconds? Maybe if you're, trying to find a bottleneck or something, but just analyzing real quick, then we can change that so we aren't overloaded with a million different numbers. Alright, so this next one, and actually the rest of these are pretty easy. The source is where it came from. The destination is where it's going to. The protocol, the length, and the info is just a real brief info or like a summary of it basically, but the real detailed info is right here. Now during your analysis, what you usually want to do is start out by rearranging these so they're actually pretty readable. So it usually butts this up right up against the time, so you see how that's really difficult to read. So I like to separate this a little bit more, just make it easier to read. And of course this depends on the size of your screen. I'm kind of limited since I'm filming and I need to make these videos fit on YouTube, so there you go. Now you can also rearrange these completely. So maybe for some reason you want the I don't know, the protocol in between the source and destination. So if you just click these and drag, then you can do that. I actually like it as it was, so I'll just leave that right there. And you can also hide these columns completely. So say that, okay, I really don't care about this length, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and in displayed columns, in the checkbox, whatever one's checked, that means it's being displayed. So if you uncheck that, and I don't know, let me play around with this, uncheck this one, oh crap, I messed everything up. I just want to go back to normal now, display them all. So what I can do is right click again, display columns, and display all, and it's going to pop you back to normal. Now as you can see, by accident I actually sorted this. So whenever you sort a column, then just like Microsoft Excel, you can sort it by ascending or descending. However, I usually like it by default, which is sorted by numbers. In other words, the order that the packets came in during the capture. So now let's select one of these packets and hop down in the middle section. And actually, let me take care of the bottom section real quick so I can just get it out of there. So the bottom section, there's not much you can do with it. You can pretty much, if you right click it, choose between hex view or bits view, which is pretty much the binary, ones and zeros. So just pick whatever one you don't want to understand. So whenever I need to look at it, I like looking at it that way. So yeah, there you go. But I'm gonna hide it so I have a little bit more room to teach. So view and packet bytes, and so we have a packet selected, and we can see in this section we can view the details about it, and it's grouped up into different sections. So frame, Ethernet, IPv4, TCP, and HTTP. So whatever one you click, of course, is going to give you some more info about it. Now you see how whenever I'm navigating, then I do so with these trees right here. Well, some of these little sections, they actually have a lot of trees, and I'm like, okay, I want to view this section, but it's taking forever. I have to maximize, minimize all that. Well, what you can do is this. Say you wanted to view all the information that's related to TCP. You can just right click and hit expand subtrees. So whatever group you have selected, it's going to go through that group and expand all of those little sections, and those are called trees. Now if you want to expand all of these sections at once, then you can just right click anywhere and hit expand all. Now this is usually pretty overwhelming, so I'm going to right click and hit collapse all, and I actually like to only expand one at a time. So boom, there you go. So now we have concluded, a real basic tour of the interface. Of course, there's a ton of stuff here that we didn't go over. A lot of this stuff is really specific and you don't use it every day. But now that we got a pretty good understanding of all of these different menus and tools, filters, and different sections, we can go ahead and start learning exactly how to analyze traffic. So that's going to be actually the real fun part. Got the boring stuff out of the way. Can't wait. See you guys in the next video.